All right, it's another episode of the Pin High Podcast, Golficity. We're going to be talking about Jon Rahm's first major win. I feel like it's crazy that he's actually like 26 years old and has a kid and has a family, and now he's doing this. And we're also going to be talking about the fifth major, right? The Travelers.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into it.
Kind of weird they have back-to-back majors.
Yeah, I know, right?
Why
would they
weird.
do that?
It's kind of a weird scheduling quirk.
We talked about that a couple weeks ago. We were like, what if they had all the majors in 1 month? And now it's starting to come true.
It's true. This is back-to-back. This is the dream.
Has there ever been another tournament in Connecticut besides the Travelers?
I would assume probably not.
I think the US. I saw it on the broadcast on Sunday.
Oh yes,
yesterday.
Brooklawn is hosting the US Senior
Brooklawn,
which is crazy. I almost worked there.
The US Women's Senior Open.
I didn't even know they were like
hard.
I didn't know they were. It was like that good of a club.
I think it is very, very nice.
It must
from
be.
What I've heard. I think it's hosted a bunch of stuff too, like more Connecticut, like CSJ.
I know,
stuff,
but I guess the US Senior Women's
Open
still huge deal, but like it was on like the telecast.
Big deal. Yeah, it was. And it was Brooklyn, and I made 0 pars and shot 55 there or something like that. The one time I played.
When was that?
It was in high school. We played a match. It was like 40 degrees and raining. We played a match, and I think I made 4 birdies and like 3 triples, and then it was a shit show.
All right. Well, we might as well get inside the ropes. Jon Rahm. I mean, I'm not going to say I called it because it's like you had beaten the bookie out there to like crowning himself for picking Jon Rahm to win. I'm not going to do the same to myself.
Everyone
thought
it was this week.
I picked him. He was plus 1050. He was the favorite. Granted, a win is a win. That's what I will say.
Oh, it is.
I think we are.
And Pat needed it too.
Yeah,
I did.
Really needed it.
I did. It was my first skin
in the skins race
in 24 weeks, I believe.
And of all weeks to win, you win on a week where there's just one skin available.
Is that my first? Because did we start that like 2021?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So my first skin of 2021 is June. So.
Whichever. I think we're actually 4 of 6 in picking winners in majors. I think the only ones we didn't have were Phil, obviously, and DJ at the Masters because we just didn't want to pick him because
it's crazy. Trev had Hideki Matsuyama.
Yeah, you had Matsuyama on your DraftKings.
Awesome. I forgot.
Also, I mean, if you want to count it as another major, it isn't. But last year at the Charles Schwab, it was like the first tournament back from COVID, so it was a big deal. Trev randomly had Daniel Berger. Sure.
I did have Daniel Berger. That was an awesome pick.
And Daniel Berger was like, that was like the beginning of his comeback. Like he was kind of.
It was the first term he came back in, and he won.
We went Daniel Berger, awesome. Webb Simpson back to back right off the COVID break.
We did.
Yeah, that was weird.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
that was a long time ago. But anyway, I mean, we should talk about Jon Rahm. I mean, going into the day, you kind of had to imagine anyone at 1 under, maybe even. I was saying, like had a chance to win, and then
I think 1 under was because nobody had gone below 67.
Well, I was looking at like Paul Casey, like at even, and I was like, because I was saying like 1 under, I was like talking to my dad. I was like, I think anyone at 1 under. Then I saw Paul Casey. I was like, maybe even has a chance, but like Morikawa was at 1 under, and he was in it at one point. He kind of blew it.
We can go into that. We can go into that later. I feel like we can go into all the players. Like the leaderboard was crazy at one point. There was Rory, Bryson, Brooks, Rahm.
He might have been one of the best.
Even to a certain extent.
It was like at one point too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. DJ Morikawa. I took a picture at one point because my family paused it before we went to dinner. So I took a picture of where I paused it, and it was, I'm trying to find it right now. But the leaderboard when I took the picture it was crazy. It was Rory, Bryson, DeChambeau, Henley, Rahm, Morikawa, Wolfe, Casey, Hughes, Koepka, Xander's right below that. JT was at that point, I think, right below that. It was tons and tons of big names at the top of the leaderboard, which is so fun to watch. Always.
Once again, for the second straight major, we have nailed the winning score at 6 under.
We have.
It was 6
We
under
did.
last during the PGA, right? Too.
I think it was 4, or it might have been.
I
Actually, no,
forget.
I think it was 6.
I think
You're
it was
right. I
6,
think it
yeah.
was 6 both times. Yeah,
said
I said 4
something.
last week. You said 6 last week, so we were on it.
We were.
I would have said 6 for the record too. Just
Okay. Sure.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, but it was actually pretty incredible. I feel like one of the reasons I picked Jon Rahm to win, and one of the reasons he thinks he won, was because of his like positive attitude after the COVID like thing at the Memorial. He like wasn't
a lot about that.
Yeah, he wasn't pissy about it. He was just like, he agreed with like the ruling. He was like, yeah, I couldn't play, like that's the rules, like blah blah blah. And he's talking about like, you know, good karma and how he just didn't overreact, and he knew that something big was coming, and lo and behold, wins the US Open, first major. It's crazy that's his first major, because I feel like he's been so many.
It is.
I mean, yeah. I mean, just
The factors,
to think about that.
He has a ton of factors. He had a ton of factors going for him, I feel like, this week, just because, like that you said, like the positive attitude, like he's been kind of known as like kind of like losing his temper, something like that. But he had maintained a positive attitude. He was playing amazing, obviously, when he came after he just destroyed the Memorial and basically won the tournament. And then he's going to Tori, where he's won his first PGA Tour tournament before and played really well there in the past. So he has good memories there too. It was the perfect storm for what happened with him with COVID. It was the perfect storm of what could possibly happen in this golf, where the tournament was in the golf tournament, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he handled the interview afterwards like just like so perfectly as well.
Flawlessly. Yeah.
Like just everything he said
Flawless.
like was just like a valid point that like actually stuck with me, I feel like.
Yeah.
As opposed to saying like,
You could tell
like,
he'd been thinking about
hit the
like
ball
the whole
well.
thing a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
over the past couple weeks. Like
Yeah.
he knew, like, yeah, he knew what to say, because he'd probably just been like not preparing it, but like those were just like genuine thoughts that he probably had.
And yeah, it was pretty cool to see 3 generations of Rahms. I think his dad
That
was
was
there.
cool,
It was
too.
Father's Day. Obviously his son, who was born like only a couple weeks ago. I mean,
Yeah, right
that
before
was
the
pretty cool.
Masters.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I mean, it was cool to see that. I mean,
That was
yeah,
that
good
was
for him.
crazy. His son is so like small. That is
Yeah.
that is a newborn child.
Yes.
much.
Yeah, at the
That was
and
crazy.
and he, I guess, is he and his wife, or the baby and his wife, were at just chilling at the U.S. Open. Then on the range, just chilling with Phil.
Dude,
on the
Yeah,
I
range,
literally
brought
was
a
like,
chair
Rahm hit
over.
balls.
I saw that. I was like, dude, Phil is so cool. I wish I
Yeah.
was as cool as Phil, because I couldn't do. I don't know. I just like, that's just so weird. Not weird, but like,
He's carrying the chair down the stairs
Yeah.
for I think it's Kelly, the wife's name. It was it was a cool moment.
And whatever,
they
that
both
goes
they
back.
both went to Arizona State.
Yeah, that goes back to the PGA as
San
well. I mean,
Diego.
at the end of the PGA,
Yeah.
who was the first one to greet Phil? It was Jon Rahm. At the end of the
Rahm, yeah.
US Open,
It's
it was
weird
the
to
first one to greet
think-
Rahm.
because you don't think of that relationship between them as like all that weird, because Jon Rahm seems so much older than he is. He carries himself
He
and
is.
looks older, and like Phil's like 50 and Jon Rahm is 26, and you wouldn't know it, I feel like.
Yeah,
Mhm.
agreed. I
Rahm,
wonder.
Rahm plays like a veteran, like in the sense
He
that
does.
he
Yeah.
and he feels like a veteran because he feels like he's been around and playing well for forever. And like you said, it feels weird that it's only his first major, because you feel like he's like in 10 years, I feel like he'll be the exact same player and play the exact same way, and he might have 4 majors by then. Like we wouldn't be surprised, and it just feels the exact same. Might feel the
And
exact same as it was now.
You mentioned it earlier. You were talking about like how his temper has been like a thing in the past, and there's plenty of
Mhm.
times where he could have let his temper get the best of him
Oh,
during that
yeah.
round. He made so many up and downs that were
Oh,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
ridiculous. And Jika
That's what- that's-
texted in our group chat at one point. He's like, Jon Rahm keeps getting up and down. Remember that putt, like when
Exactly.
when he wins.
What was this?
potentially.
That was during the 3rd round, I think. Like he made like 4 in a row, 4 par saves in a row that were just like relatively tough, like sliding putts, and I was just like, remember that because like he's in it right now. Like
Mhm.
if he wins the
And
US
nobody,
Open, that's the reason.
it didn't really seem like we'll get into the players who kind of collapsed, but it seemed like he was the only one, along with kind of Louis too. Louis was making putts, but Rahm was the only one really making anything on the golf course. It's like even Saturday as well. Like all of yesterday, Rahm was making Rahm birdie the first 2 holes. Obviously, he made the 2 amazing putts on 17, 18, which were so cool to watch. But and such tough putts too. But he was the only one really consistently making putts and hitting good putts. Like remember the 12th hole, and everyone was blowing it by the hole.
Yeah.
And they were saying it's less uphill than people think, and everyone we watched was blowing it by, and Rahm hit it to probably that far away. Like he was
Exactly. Like
completely
stress
dialed on
free,
the greens.
obviously.
And
I mean,
everyone was
like
hitting like 8 foot.
Rom was stress free, and Louis was like the complete opposite. Like he was kind of like bend don't break for most
Yeah.
of the round. I mean, he did have a lot of birdie chances early on in the round, and he just couldn't buy one. He couldn't get those birdie putts to fall. And
He
then
did make some very clutch short putts though.
Oh, he did.
absolutely. I mean, as the round went
13 was a big
on,
one.
those birdie putts turned into par putts that he had to make, and they were pretty big. And then it kind of just got let down on the 17th hole.
I mean, he almost saved himself on the 17th hole.
He did.
He did.
Like you there's no excuse. Like you
Yeah,
can
great shot.
You cannot go left on your drive. He had
No, you
so
can't.
much space on the right side, and he hooked it left, which that probably just comes down to the nerves on the 71st.
No, it does. It does. And like, but also no, I completely understand. You cannot, like the last thing you can do is miss left. But I also feel like it's hard for him. Knowing down one, he says, "Yeah, I need to birdie one of the final 2 holes." And like 18 is like it's a birdieable hole, obviously.
I mean, he
but
did
it's
birdie
not
it.
from yeah, he did. But like from a people, like obviously you saw Brooks make bogey, which is he should have made par at least, but it's not a guaranteed birdie in that sense, I guess. But yeah, you cannot miss left in that situation at all. That was inexcusable. But he did. I mean, Louis, all the putts he made, he made a putt on 13, made a putt on 16 for par after a bad first putt. He got the lucky break on 13 without rolling down the hill. Could have changed the whole golf tournament as well. And then 17, I think it just not as luck, but it just inevitably you're just going to miss one of those putts, and it happened to come on the 71st hole of the golf tournament, which is unfortunate.
I feel like when you get on 17, like you almost have to have your anti-left swing out there. Like if you go leave it out,
Jon Rahm did.
Right, that Rahm did that.
Rahm did.
And he ended up birdieing it.
Yeah.
He ended up birdieing that was abnormal though. I feel like from that situation.
Well, yeah, Louis does not have
birdieing.
No, but
Louis
guys were doing
doesn't
that
have the
all day,
power
and that's
that
all
Rahm
Louis
has,
had to do.
No, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he needs
Guys
to
were
get
bailing
out
out right all day.
par. If you got out of that hole for par and you go into the last hole needing a birdie, I mean, 18's a birdieable hole. I mean, he was in the rough. He couldn't get to the green in 2, but like he left himself with a pretty easy chip, and he was able to make the birdie.
Mm-hmm.
So like it could have gone.
Do you think? I think the answer to me is pretty clear, but do you think you should have gone forward on 18 from that line?
No. I don't.
Pat?
No.
Okay. I think you would take your chance from hitting a wedge in from less than 100 than potentially something going wrong on that shot.
Because one, I know you like he would much rather have a title than or a US Open title than like extra money. But 2, you got to take that into account. Like you're literally talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars if you just go for it and hit it in the water.
Yeah, and
just like
you got to at least finish second. That's what my dad said when we were watching.
Because no, you don't play for second there, but it's like
you don't.
You're gonna hit it in the water from there, like most likely.
The odds, I think the odds playing the odds game, the odds of hitting a wedge in from whatever 70 yards away, however much he was, compared to gaining on the green and one putting from 247 yards out of
wasn't going to happen.
Trying to go just right of water, like it wasn't going to happen. Like
the only thing is, I think
it was either going to end up worse in the rough or in the water. It would have been just end of the tournament.
Now, I think the odds of him making a bunker shot from the bunker on the right side of the green probably would have been a little bit better than making the wedge from where he was. But like, you have to get to
I
that
even know,
bunker
I know
to
from the
start.
bunker.
Like, I don't know if you would have
Yeah,
gotten it.
I even know from the bunker, and like you saw Brooks from the rough over there. He hit it in the bunker, and then Rahm even had to play out right. Like it's the same kind of thing. It's obviously from there he would have gone for it, but from the bunker he would have gone for the hole instead of what Rahm did. But and Brooks blew it by. It's a very dangerous shot. It seems like
it's an unfortunate situation, but it's what he had to do.
I mean, I'm gonna say
I really wanted him to hit the fairway on 18.
If it got into a playoff, I think the way it was going, I think Rahm would have still ended up winning.
I think he would have still won too. But also, I mean, you could have argued that Rahm, like those two putts were such a high that who knows, he might have come completely back down to earth and just.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the power advantage, because I think they would have played 7 and 18 2-hole aggregate. I just think the power advantage on 18 would have been too much for Louis.
Oh no, it would have been, yeah. But mostly it's in the rough, obviously.
Yeah.
Also, we talk about Rahm's fist pumps are electric.
Yes,
they're so much fun. 17 and 18 were so awesome.
When I was seeing him go down the stretch before he even made the putts on 17 and 18, I was thinking back to the BMW against DJ when he made those long putts, and I was like, you know what? He's got it in him. So I don't doubt that he'll do it.
If you had to pick like one or two guys to make a long putt on the 72nd hole of a major, like it's gonna be Jon Rahm or Jordan Spieth probably. And
yeah, they're both right there. And obviously Tiger, but any of the other guys that are up there on the leaderboard, they could not, like I said earlier, he was the only one who was really making anything on the golf course that day.
Rory made some bombs.
But Rory,
but he also
fell apart.
He missed so many putts though.
I've become such a bigger Rory guy over the past like few weeks, couple months. I don't know why, but I was more just like indifferent on Rory before, but I'm becoming a Rory guy. I like him a lot.
It's good when he contends.
I love
it's fun.
No, it's golf.
No, I know you've
always
loved
It's
Rory.
fun when he contends. I've always loved Rory, but I'm starting to realize like he's contending it. Like he's great. He's contending again, but he hasn't won a major in 7 years. That's kind of, he needs to win again.
Yeah. So kind of about that, I posted on the Instagram. I also posted on Reddit. We get a lot of engagement on Reddit at the Pin High Pod. Pretty much saying that 3 majors are down. Who do you want to win the Open? And like Rory has the most support out of all these people on Reddit. I mean, like over 50 people are in for Rory to win the Open. That's who they want to win.
That's how many people are really popping off on our Reddit.
Yeah,
that's where we get our most engagement. We should sell somebody an ad for our Reddit. Actually, no, they wouldn't appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll say some of the other names here. Lee Westwood's another one that people are saying.
That's what I was gonna actually.
That'd be cool.
I have
Dick Bland,
Jordan Spieth,
obviously.
Jordan Spieth, Victor Hovland. When somebody said,
anyone say Tiger Woods?
No one said Tiger. Someone said Louis as well. They want to see Louis win. I don't think people realize that Louis actually won the 2010 Open.
I think a lot of people realize that.
It's a long time ago.
I don't think a lot of people realize
that he has 6 second-place finishes and he hasn't won yet, but he has won.
Which is kind of wild to think about how Louis has 6 second-place finishes at majors and Phil has 6 second-place finishes at the US Open alone.
Yeah,
that's wild to think about.
Yeah, and then another guy we saw kind of come back this week. He finished at 2-3 under. Matthew Wolfe. Was he 2 or 3?
Yeah, I
think come back. It's total comeback.
Matt Wolfe ended up finishing 1 over. He was actually 3 over on the last round, but that's a T15.
Oh wow, and that must have happened the last couple holes.
Yeah, T15.
But yeah, I mean, either way, like that's 2 years in a row he's done well at the US Open. He shows that he can play well at these courses, and he took that time off for some mental struggles. Hopefully, he's honestly like back, because I know I saw on the schedule we have the 3M Open coming up. He won that his first.
He's playing this week, I think, as well.
He is playing this week.
I think he played this week. I think he played well this week too. The fact he came back in the first term he played in 2 months was the US Open, and he plays this well. even though he didn't play great on Sunday, plays as well in his first major back. That's a really good sign, I think.
I mean, yeah, and no one really played well on Sunday for the most part, except for like Harris English and Jon Rahm, really. And
I swear I saw maybe.
Sorry, what?
I swear I saw like 2 of Harris English's shots all day.
Yeah,
and they were at the very end.
He made a birdie and an eagle.
Did I?
Yeah, that was it.
Did I tell you guys that I thought Harris English was going to do well this week? I was telling somebody. I was telling somebody else because somebody was asking for a top 20 bet, and I was just like, I don't know, Harris English. I feel like
he's had a couple good finishes in a row,
and they hit
recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's kind of back too a little bit.
Coming back.
Yeah, let's just talk about the fact that like everybody else crumbled. I mean, I feel like
everyone.
The one that you're gonna point out the most obviously is Bryson. He went 8 over on the final 9 holes for a 44.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that was bad.
First off, I wonder what Brooks thought about that. And second of all, do you think that's motivation for this week for Bryson?
I don't know, dude. I was talking about this yesterday. I was like, because my stance on the whole Brooks and Bryce situation has been that I like both of them and I like watching both of them play a lot. But I don't know, Bryson's just like such a clown sometimes. Like that chip he like scolded like right, shanked right, or whatever it was. It's like he didn't even look like he cared walking up to that shot. He like took like no practice swings, just like it looked like he literally didn't care.
Was on I didn't see him on, I know he
par
made
5 on the back.
Yeah, 13. Sure. Hitting the Stella. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was Michelob, if he's hit next to a can of Michelob's.
The commentator is like, I'm sure he's gonna want to grab a few of those before he hits his next shot.
Oh yeah.
That would have been honestly
that whole hole was a disaster for Bryson. First slipping on the tee,
the streaker.
As well.
The streaker was on
slipping on the tee.
Yeah, I mean, early in the day, I was like, "Oh, Bryson might like do this." Like Bryson got up to. Did he get like with?
He was leading.
He was
leading
himself at 5 under.
After that
at
shot,
5 under.
He leading. Yeah,
and it was just like, wow, Bryson's locked in. Like he might do it to him again. Like Bryson and Rahm, it felt like going on, and he ended up shooting 9 over on the back, which whatever.
And finishing at what 3 over overall? 4 over.
Bryson, he finished so far down. He finished 6 over on the day.
He finished 3 over.
So he
went from 6 over on the round.
5 under through 8 holes. And I know he bogeyed. I don't know what he's at on 11, but I know he bogeyed 12, then made double on 13. Then what was it, quad on 17?
Made quad, yeah.
Like
Yeah, he had an 8.
Gosh, that's just.
I mean, he went from
won the US Open last year.
He went to from first to T26. He was locked in, and then like it just turned off for him. I don't know what happened. I mean, he stopped hitting the fairway.
I don't think that will have any impact on him going forward, though, is the thing.
No.
Well, I could see him being like, well, that wasn't good last week, and just come out and dominate this week.
Yeah, because he said he figured something out after the first day. And he did figure something out up until pretty much like the 12th hole or whatever it was.
I also think he got really. You talked about him just blasting it right on a lot of holes, like on purpose, like hands like there was one of them in the crowds, and you just hit it right on purpose to get a better angle and like just hope for a good lie. And then on 12, he got a terrible lie. Obviously on 13, he hit in the rough twice, which was a huge mistake, and then ended up making double on that. So I don't know why he done 17, but like I said with Louis, his luck might have kind of run out at that point with in terms of lies in the rough and just having to run out at a bad time.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't a lot some of those lies are just gonna be absolutely brutal on some of those holes too.
I mean, yeah, and 13 took Morikawa out too. I think Morikawa made double on 13, and he shanked 3 chip shots in a row, and they didn't show they only showed one of them, I think, but like he literally was going up there and he didn't hit 3 chip shots in a row were terrible.
And it was Rory on 12 who hit it into the lip of the bunker, then hit it into the rough, and then. That he made double after 3 playing on 11 from like 20 feet. And
then we had Mackenzie Hughes hit a ball into a tree.
That was crazy. I've never seen that before.
Yeah. So
and it bounced back into the tree.
yeah,
Like
it like bounced
how
off
does
the
that
concrete into the
happen?
tree.
Yeah,
And then
I honestly
Russell
don't know.
Henley had a bad day as well. He was in the lead like the entire tournament, and
Mhm.
he comes in on Sunday and he just couldn't do anything. So I mean, like
Yeah.
everybody else pretty much except for Rahm kind of fell apart, which was I don't want to. I guess it was fun to see in a way. Like, oh yes, we got our carnage. Especially for like a 6 under U.S. Open, you usually expect it to be less, but like down the stretch, I thought there was going to be like 5, 6, 7, 8 guys down the stretch, and it only ended up
And
being
it turned into a 2-man race. Yeah. Crazy. A lot of carnage.
What were your overall thoughts on Tori? Both of you guys.
I like Tori as like a farmer's course. I don't think it's the best US Open course. I mean, it's a good course. It's good to go back to. It has a lot of history. But like there's a lot of holes that are relatively straight and like don't have a lot of imagination to them. And like I kind of like to see more carnage in the US Open.
I'd say about the same. I feel like you get a lot of that. I feel like I mean obviously it played different than the Farmers. It was great venue and stuff. I don't know. I like seeing just like new courses. I guess that's what the PGA Championship's for. But because the USGA just announced, I think, that they're like trying to cut it down, like the list of US Open spots to like just like a very simple list of just like common courses.
Pebble and Shinnecock
like
and
next year
like
it's
that.
at the country club,
the country
right?
club,
country club,
which I played.
Yeah,
which I went to school like not that far away from.
That's right.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing, Kanji. I thought it's like tough and a good course, and it's like it made for obviously made for a great tournament entertainment wise, but there are just so many holes that just feel like there's like I couldn't tell you what hole 7 was. I couldn't tell you what half the holes.
I was gonna say I feel like I usually like really zero in on what hole numbers are like or which like I remembered a lot like throughout the week. By like Sunday you just like know every hole
exactly. The amount you watch, even if you
like
don't
the
watch
PGA Championship,
I
knew everything at Q by the end of it. It seemed like, but this, I didn't feel like I knew too. Like I was really retaining.
They're all
too
very,
much of Tory.
very. It's very. They're all very, very. They're just super, super long. Like I couldn't tell you what 15 would look like at all.
Yeah, I mean,
one made big like double there or something like that. I could not tell you. 17 was like I know 16, I know 18, 12 and 13, 3, and then that's about it. Really, everything else just seems the exact same.
Three's the par 3, right?
3 is the par 3. That's why that's why I know 3 because they have the angle and everything looks really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't really have like its full like signature hole that a lot of other courses.
It is a fantastic PGA Tour stop though, for sure.
I mean, it takes a little bit away from it that they play there every year. I mean,
exactly. Like you want you like I'm looking forward to the country club next year because it's a place we never get to see like ever. And then LA Country Club is after that, and we never get to see that place. Like I love. And like Shinnecock is a great US Open venue when we see it every now and then, but it's still you don't see it every year like you do the Farmers, which I like not seeing
if you
courses
compare it
coming there.
Yeah, even if you compare it to like Pebble Beach, where like Pebble Beach we do see every year at the AT&T Pebble Beach, like obviously it plays a lot different for the US Open, but Pebble Beach has its signature holes, like when you're coming down the stretch of Pebble Beach, like you're gonna have these signature holes where like Tori does.
It's not even signature holes of Pebble. It's just variation, a lot of different holes, like 6, the par 5 up the hill, and then there's a lot of different holes you have to play, and like the view. I think the overall diversity is a lot different with Pebble, which is what makes it better.
That's a good way to put it. There is a lot of variation.
There. You have to hit a lot of
Tory
different,
Pines
a lot of
lacked
different
that.
things.
It seemed like
exactly. Yeah, it's the same thing as like Bryson said. That's why people like Bryson, because you can hit as far as you want. You'd be in the rough, but it's just a straight shot to the green, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so one more thing to mention about it. What did you guys think about the TV coverage? Because I thought there was far too many commercials. Like I felt like there was more commercials than golf. Like the golf was the commercial part.
I've come to accept golf coverage as in its mediocrity.
Except for the Masters.
I agree
Masters
with that.
is so good with that. The Masters, you have 57 minutes of golf every hour. and there's 3 minutes of commercials.
Yeah,
That's
I felt like we had like 20 minutes of golf, and the rest were commercials. Or like
Well,
when
I
they
think-
did
I
the
think-
split screen thing too.
that's they should do more of that. That's so cool. The split screen.
Yeah, but I hated
Like
it
when they have like
did the split
11th hole and
screen
13th
thing.
hole.
It did no. The split screen with
Oh,
the
the
commercial
playing
on one
through.
side.
Oh,
The
I
playing
hate that
through.
too.
They did
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Rory had like a massive putt, like he really needed
Which
it
he
to go
made.
down, and he made it. But
Yeah.
there was like a car commercial on, and there was no.
No,
sound.
I hate
Yeah, I
that.
hate that.
I think I didn't watch a ton on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday because I was working all those days. But Sunday I watched a lot of the afternoon broadcast, and for the most part, like I'm sure everyone watches. So, but there was a ton of commercials at the beginning, and then like nothing at the end. Like for the last like hour and a half, there was close to nothing, which is cool because it's the last part of a major. But that whole part in the middle where that's when everyone was playing well,
Yeah,
and everyone was
chaos
like
was
in the
going
mix, and like you had they would just end up being behind, and you can see all the shots. I only saw Brooks. I never saw a Brooks drive on that stretch, and he was like,
yeah, you really
all of a
didn't
sudden,
see a lot of Brooks drives.
all of a sudden you would see him on the green or in the fairway, and you're like, well, what do you do on his drive, or like, how do you get there? And then, or if he was in the rough, like oh, but he did this, and then it just seemed like there people they couldn't track everyone you wanted to see, and you would be like waiting like where's Rory, where's Rahm, and then there would be a playing through commercial or an actual commercial. And it was unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's just how golf is now, unfortunately.
Except for the Masters, obviously.
Right. And then, so do we want to get into some of
It
just
always
like
sucks.
the segments for the week? Still recapping the week. So.
Yeah. So first segment, double bogey of the week. Let's get into that. So double bogey of the week. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Victor Hovland was forced to withdraw in the second round because he got sand in his eye. And like he had the picture on Instagram of like the tape over his eye and stuff like that. And whatever. I don't think he was gonna make the cut anyway, but like tough look.
I thought he was going to do
I
well.
thought he was going to do well too. I think his game fit for us. I feel like straight driver, good iron player.
Yeah, blame it on the sand in the eye, I guess.
There was one picture on Twitter I saw. It was, like when Bryson was bombing it down the right and like into the crowds basically, and not even like he'd just pick up his tee and walk over there, and it would basically just land in the crowd. There's a picture someone posted. It was like, this is one of the victims of Bryson's drive on whatever hole it was. Like Bryson has to be careful of this and yell for, and it's Victor Hovland with the thing on his eye on Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's another double bogey of the week. Bryson just like he refuses to yell for. Like, did you see that story?
Yeah,
like he just
I did.
Like they said, like, why don't you yell for? And he's just like, no thanks. Like,
why? Well, what's the point of that? What's
why?
the point of you can't? That's like a respect thing too, almost.
What's your worst?
Like you can't just do that.
What's your worst not yelling for story?
when I hit it at the guy on the green and like splashed him. I don't know if you were with me for that. It might have been Trevor.
I was not with you, but yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, I splashed him and he stood there and waited for me and like scolded me. But
yeah,
I know. I think I know Pat's.
was I with you?
Oak Hills.
Yeah, was I with you?
I think you were.
Both
yeah.
of you, I think.
I think it was. Yeah, it might have been both of us.
Yeah, no, I hit it into someone's
the guy's
car. Well,
Yeah.
because it was behind a tree, so I didn't know they were over there. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what came to mind. I was like, I hit it directly into their cart.
I remember that so clearly. Oh my god!
And then
it's
they
so
stomped my ball like into the ground, and I walked up to. I was like, yeah, fair enough.
I don't really have a for like story. Well, I'll yell for if I need to. Oh, I was caddying a couple weeks ago, and on 13 at Silver Spring, and it's kind of like you can't really see the tee from 12 fairway or 11, or like in between 13 and 12 fairway. And so I was hanging on 12 right rough, and I was like watching him hit, and one of the guys on the tee yelled for, and I yelled for right as this guy was about to swing down on his downswing, and the ball was nowhere near him, and he just completely like chunked the hell out of it, and he was so upset. And
I
they
can
were
imagine
playing a match. It was a memorial. It was like a club wide match. Like that was the day that everyone played their club wide matches. And
They
then
lose.
no, and
Okay.
the part that the people was playing was said put it back and make him redo it.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
honestly fair.
he was so mad. The ball was nowhere near him. It was just in general direction.
But somebody yelled for, right?
Well, they yelled 4 on the tee, and I was screaming it because I thought it was a lot closer, and it was probably 40 yards short of where he ended up hitting from.
it
And
happens.
that was probably it
Yeah.
happens, and I couldn't I was being safe. That was my excuse, I guess.
Trevor's integrity as the one of the top Silver Spring caddies is at stake there.
It's gone down. Yeah,
Gone down. Your Uber rating's gone down.
Luckily, I didn't recognize the guy, so hopefully didn't
Could you
say
imagine?
anything.
Could you imagine if there was like an app that gave like caddy ratings, like an Uber?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've never been
actually.
a bad caddy, but I've never been a specifically good caddy.
I would just love to see some of the like stories.
Yeah.
Oh, on tour or just like in general?
No,
Like,
no,
No,
like,
like just
at a
general
golf club.
caddies.
Like if you caddy somebody and then you're like, all right, please like review me on like this, and then
they have that at they have that
That's kinda cool,
at some
actually.
clubs. No, they do that. They have that.
I'm sure they do.
I'm forgetting
That
where.
makes a lot of sense.
No, yeah, there's this club in upstate New York, I forget what it's called, but they have that rating system for their caddies. It's one of like the only clubs in upstate New York that has it. Caddies are like a very like local, like Northeast type thing. Like it's not really like
It is
like New England like thing.
No, the only places if you go down like to like a Sawgrass or Stream Song or
out
like
west.
a really nice really nice course. They'll nice courses are good, nice, really nice clubs. They'll have it otherwhere, but in Northeast it's really big.
I mean, yeah, they have it for like
programs. Their clubs are huge.
They have it for pace of play purposes, like down south, like at nice courses.
Mm-hmm. We kind of went on a tangent there, though.
Yeah, let's
get. It was my fault. It was my fault. I asked you where's for a story.
We started with Victor Hovland and went to caddies.
Yeah. But let's move into People's Champ of the Week. So we had Guido Migliozzi. Coming into the week again, I think I might have been talking to someone else other than you guys about Guido Migliozzi, but it was Austin Bell. I was talking to him about Guido Migliozzi, and I think we both had him in our DraftKings, and he just obviously at like, what was he, like 6,800 or something like that? Like maybe cheap. Went off.
I mean, yeah, T4, which actually gets him to qualify for next year's US Open, and I think the Masters.
I think the Masters too.
Yeah. So, and also, I mean, he was coming off of back-to-back second place finishes on the European Tour, and like coming in this week, like no expectation, and he gets a T4.
Exactly.
And also,
dude,
same name.
Did you see how pumped he was after like everything he did?
Yeah.
He was like fist bumping like so hard, like going like, yes.
I mean,
yes.
First day.
This is the best moment of his life.
Yeah, probably.
First day, we had 3 Italians in the top 20. Like both Molinaris and Guido were all in the top 20.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then I guess you can also say Matt Wolfe just coming back playing well after his small break from playing. It's nice to see because for a while there we were like, what's good with Matt Wolfe? And then this week obviously comes out.
I'm glad we mentioned him last week. Like I'm glad like I randomly put his name out there last week and like he was on the radar because I completely forgot about him.
Yeah, exactly. And then stat of the week. Jake, you want to say this one?
Yeah, so they said this on the broadcast. Only 3 other major winners have gone to birdie on the 71st and 72nd holes to win. And the 3 others are Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, and Tom Watson. Jon Rahm did that this week, so he becomes the 4th.
It's crazy that Tiger's not one of them, but I guess it's because like usually he'd be blowing people out.
Yeah, he had the lead for most of the
speaking of Tiger, so this week I lost my my golf glove, and for the first couple holes,
I've done it twice.
When I was playing the other day, I went Rocco mediate and went no glove. It's very hard, dude. It like my hands were getting so sweaty.
Yeah,
my hands were like super sweaty, and I like couldn't hold on to the club, but it didn't come out of my hand, but like it just couldn't get any grip or any feel for it. Bad.
Hmm.
But anyway, do we want to get into skins now?
Yeah, but first, a word from Roback.
You probably noticed us wearing some new Roback merch over the past few episodes, whether it was the hat both me and Jake are wearing right now. Trevor has one as well. A pullover or a collared shirt. We're partnering with Roback in 2021, and we couldn't be more excited. So head to the link in our bio, add the Roback merch you want, and you'll get 15% off just by using the link. So enjoy and crave activity.
So skins, we have the 5th major this week, the Travelers Championship, Cromwell,
A
Connecticut.
little bit of background of that, just for anybody who doesn't know why we're calling it the 5th major. We're from Connecticut. It's like the only golf around here,
this
other
is
than
our,
like
our home major.
then when like Shinnecock and like Bethpage Black are in the.
I realize I won't be there this week, but my office for work is about like probably 10 minutes away from the course. But I won't be at the office this week, unfortunately.
That's nice.
I would have wanted to go.
So Tpc River Highlands. You would normally expect like a pretty field this week, like especially after US Open, but
On the West
I don't
Coast.
know. Connecticut gets the draw. They have a good field.
People
this
really
week.
like Hartford.
Yeah, I don't know why, but
I've heard that on.
I don't know why.
No, because they like Hartford and they like New Haven. Obviously for the pizza capital of the world.
Yep.
But anyway, I mean, the field this week, you have Bryson, DJ, Brooks Koepka, Paul Casey, Patrick Reed, Scotty Scheffler, Tony Finau, etc. Like, there's more names. That's a pretty big draw for a week after the U.S. Open on the West Coast. I think what happened is this was one of the first events that came back last year, I believe, after COVID, and a lot of big players played in it, and they kind of enjoyed it. So
guy like DJ, he won.
Yeah.
So.
Which whatever. I mean, we've had Jordan Spieth in this event before. Obviously, the walk off on the out of the bunker,
and it produced a good leaderboard last year. So that's honestly probably why a lot of big guys like it, because they like the tournaments where like they have a better chance, obviously, of like winning rather than like, I don't know, call it like the Greenbrier. Not fair to them.
But talking about the week after a major, this is like the complete opposite course as to what we saw last week. It's a par 70. It's 68.41. It's the second shortest course on the PGA Tour. Only the Pebble, because that's a Pro-Am, so they have to have it kind of short. And there's 8 par 4s that are 400 to 450 yards. Number 15, I don't know if you guys remember that. It's 296-yard drivable par 4.
Who almost holed one last year?
I don't remember who it was, but like I was reading a stat that almost 90% of the field like goes for it on that hole, which obviously so.
It'd be fun to just go there and post up at that hole and just watch.
I mean,
that's definitely the spot. Yeah,
Bryson's probably hitting like a 7-iron to that green.
Literally.
But yeah, anyway, just because there's that, I mean, driving distance doesn't really make much of a difference this week. If you look at the past winners, it's kind of all over the place. I mean, you have the longer hitters like DJ, who won last year, and then the shorter hitters like Ches Reavie, our guy, who won 2 years ago. Yeah. So, and also it's a Pete Dye design, so Siwoo Kim, watch out. And key stats, strokes gain approach, like every week. Par 4s gain 400 to 450 yards. Like I said, there's 8 of them. Opportunities gain, and then strokes gain off the tee, just cause. And past winners: Dustin Johnson, Ches Reavie, Bubba Watson, Jordan Spieth, and Russell Knox. And so Bubba Watson is the course horse at this course. Bubba Watson has a couple runner-ups, and he's won 3 times. So
yeah, so he's just, and he played decent this week. Like, he had stretches of good golf.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not a terrible pick. I mean, I don't know what his value is, but it could be interesting. But so let's move into our DraftKings lineup. Last week.
Wait, speaking of Bubba, did you hear what he said about him putting on, was it Thursday, I think, or Friday?
I did not.
He was just trying to lag putts all week, and then they were just dropping.
Oh, really? That's such a common man
so
thing to do.
It is. It's like, I wish I could just do that. I could just try to lag putts all day and just drop for some reason.
I mean, anytime I make a putt over,
he's just trying to lag on.
Yeah, anytime I make a putt over like 15 feet is because I was trying to lag it there, and it just
pretty much. Honestly.
Like I did it the other day. Like I had no clue it was going in, and then I just raised my club in the air.
Oh yeah, Jeek walked in a putt like literally, dude. Jeek had his club raised from like literally like it was like 12 feet out, and he had his club raised, and it just started. I was like, oh, that's going in. It was so
you do
funny.
the club race. You have to do the club race and the fist pump right.
I didn't think
I didn't
think it was going in. I just raised my club because I'm like, oh, that was kind of like hit well.
Dude, I'm not if so there was like people behind us at some point of the day, but they weren't at this point for some reason. It was on a par 3 too. So if there was people in the tee box behind us and they saw Jake do that, it would have been the funniest thing
so
to
funny.
witness.
I wish I wish it would have been. What hole was it on? Was it later in the round?
It was on 14.
Yeah.
Okay. I wish it was on like hole 2. And then you just see him like just raise the club and a huge fist bump. Like you're not like you're playing a match and you just like that was a huge hole for me. And you're like, all right,
I did something similar. I did something similar like the time before we played where I made another long putt, but I thought I missed it. So I started walking it in right when I hit it, and it went in, and I was just like, and Pat's just like, you did not think that was going in.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I didn't.
Yeah. That's so funny. Oh my god.
But yeah, so our DraftKings lineup, I really felt good about it. But 3 of the guys got cut. Ryan Palmer
did not. Kokrak was disappointing.
Kokrak was disappointing as hell. And Zalatoris.
Yeah.
Also
And then Shane Lowry ended up at like 15 over.
Yeah, but he made the cut.
He made the cut.
I think
he's still.
But we had a winner. We had a winner though. Jon Rahm. Let's go.
I think Kokrak cost me the office pool this week, because if he made the cut, I would have finished first or second. So
yeah, there was a time where I thought I was gonna win. There was a time where probably Trevor had a good chance of winning, but
I finished.
I came up short.
Finished third, but I'm first in the season standing, so we need a big open.
Xander will come through one day. Mark my words. There'll probably be a day I don't pick him. So
yep, you got it every time at this point.
I do after every time.
So the lineup this week, we're starting out with Paul Casey, 9,900. I mean, I don't know what he ended up at this week. Probably pretty good, right? Because like
T5.
Okay, because I was gonna say he was like, you never knew with some of the finishes guys were going, because some guys were finishing well, some guys were finishing
actually ended up being T7. Sorry.
Yeah, well, still obviously really good at a U.S. Open. He's been really good at this event. T5 in 2019, T2 in 2018, T5 in 2017, T17 in 2016, and solo second in 2015. So, I mean, guy is in great form right now. He's been playing sick over the past, like, however many weeks. And, I mean, he's just good here in general. So, I like this pick.
Yeah, so the next pick is Brian Harmon. He's at 8,800 this week. I picked him in my best bets. We'll get to that later, but he does have a T13 and a T3, the 2 Pete Dye courses he's played this year. I believe the PGA Championship and the RBC Heritage. He has a TA at the Travelers in 2018, T6 in 2019, T6 in 2018. I
Hmm.
feel like he did well last year too.
Yeah,
decent.
I don't know. I don't think he did that well last year, but
like decent.
Brian Harmon's low key. He's kind of sneaky.
Horse.
He's sneaky. He has better odds this week than Patrick Reed.
Yeah. So why I like Brian Harmon this week is Bubba has won this tournament 3 times. Phil has won it twice. This is a lefty course. Yeah, like you have quite an advantage at this course. So
is Wilco Nineaber playing this week?
Is he lefty? Is that guy?
No. Higo's lefty. Wilco's righty.
Oh
okay,
my God.
I would say like Wilco is the guy who hits the like bombs.
He's
right.
You're right. I get.
Yeah.
We've been getting them mixed up over the past couple weeks. Yeah.
But yeah, this is a lefty course, so I figured we had to put a lefty in the lineup.
I'm with it. And then Siwoo Kim, the Pete Dye specialist, of course. I mean, you can't.
Of course, yeah.
8,500, pretty good. I mean, he's solid overall. T9 at the Players, T33 at RBC. I mean, kind of speaks for itself. T11 here last year speaks for itself.
Russell Henley, 8,300, played really well last week until basically Sunday. He's, like you said, second shot course, 4th in strokes gained approach, and he's played well here before, T6 in 2018. So I like that pick as well.
You just had a disappointing Sunday, like moment got too big for him.
No, it definitely did.
But he's been a solid player all year, so get him at
and his irons are pure. He was hitting look like he was hitting, like his tee shots weren't great. There were a lot of bunkers, I feel like, but he still, like on Saturday he was just getting up and down and getting like hitting good shots in the green still. So
yeah. And then Ricky Fowler. I mean, Jake, you want to go into this one?
Yeah, so it was disappointing he didn't qualify for the U.S. Open. He played in the qualifying events, just finished outside of them. But he's coming off a T11 and a T8 at the Memorial and the PGA, which were two tough courses, obviously. And maybe his game's trending upward. I mean, it's worth a salary pick this week at the salary of 7,300. I mean, that's really low. Also, he hasn't played this event since 2013, but when he has played this event, he has a T13, and both times he's played it, 2013, 2010. Those are the only two times he's played it, so good course history, I guess. Also, kind of random, probably a little bit of a stretch, but he found out that his wife's pregnant this week. He's having his first kid, so maybe
Yeah,
that's a
like 2
motivator.
hours ago or 3 hours ago, he posted on Instagram about that. I saw that.
Yeah, so maybe that's a motivator. Maybe Jon Rahm won a major after a kid, so maybe Rory's gonna win the Open.
Maybe Ricky will win the 5th major.
Or Ricky's gonna win the Open. Sorry.
No, he'll win the 5th major.
Oh yeah, he could win the 5th.
It'll be his first major. So
yeah,
congrats
exactly
to him if he wins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of new dads on tour.
A lot of new dads on tour.
Yeah. Maybe that's a new thing. You have to become a dad in order to win. Like
dad strength.
I mean,
Dad
Rory.
strength.
Rory's due for the Open. I feel like
maybe
Rory just had a kid too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now he's playing better. Maybe I think this is Andrew's time. He needs to have a kid now and with his girlfriend or wife and then go from there. And then he'll win a major then.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we do have one more pick, and Guido Migliozzi, 7,200. I mean, he's the guy. We kind of mentioned him a little bit earlier, but T4 at the U.S. Open, all that really wasn't a fluke because he has back-to-back second place finishes in the European Tour, which means he's probably in the form of his life at 7,200 for a guy in the form of his life. Pretty good. And he's looking to become a mainstay on the PGA Tour. So, I mean, 7,200, great salary for him.
Yeah. So skins this week, one skin's on the line. Want to know why? Because I got one.
That's on the board.
Right.
You still haven't really won a best bet though.
I've won best bets. I haven't won I haven't won a best bet in a week that somebody else has
skin. Yeah.
I've won best bets, many of them. But yeah, I won.
And the
one
week
skin.
when Skin still lost the best bet, which is
comeback starts now.
Yeah, you did.
Comeback starts now.
I mean, so yeah, right. So I have 12. Trev has 11. Pat now has 1.
Yes. So on that note, I'm going to start. I have the honors on the tee this week.
You do have the honors on.
This week, my winner, I mean, going back to our DraftKings lineup, it's Ricky Fowler at 70-1. I kind of like this value. I just kind of had this tingly feeling that Ricky's on the verge of really pushing it over the edge. Past 2 events, he's gained right around or above a full stroke putting on the field. He's always just been really good off the tee. He's been ball striking actually very well as well. So on that note, I'm also picking him to either come top 30 or top 40 for my best bet. The odds aren't out, I don't think, yet for those, but he's plus 275 to come top 20. So I would imagine one of those will be minus 150 or better.
Yeah, I'm checking out the odds right now, see if they come up. They have not come up yet. So that's what happens when you record.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I'll go next since I had the second place finisher last week, which little did we know. We didn't even mention that. We had first and second place at the US.
We did.
And T7. I had T7. Xander was T7 too.
Yeah,
can't forget.
So my winner is going to be Patrick Reed. He's plus 2,200. I think Trev mentioned that Brian Harmon has better odds than him this week, which is kind of crazy. He has top 20s in 5 of his last 7 events. He's excellent on and around the greens, obviously. 5th in strokes gained putting, 11th in strokes gained around the green. That kind of totals up to 8th in strokes gained total. And he has good finishes at this course. T5 in 2017, T24 last year, T11 2016, and has been pretty good at Pete Dye courses this year. I feel like this is kind of a course that Patrick Reed could win at. And he's been playing pretty good golf. So, and then my best bet, you mentioned Brian Harmon. Brian Harmon, I have him top 30 or 40, probably going to be 30, I'm going to guess. Fits the bill if somebody could win here. And like I said, lefty course. So watch out for the lefties.
Of course, yeah. So I'll go my
winner. An all lefty lineup.
Is there even enough in the field?
I don't know.
Who knows? We'll just find them all.
We'll look into that. I might put that
Imagine,
in like 10 cents.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
See how that does.
Go ahead, sir.
I'll go Kevin Streelman as my winner, plus 3,000. Pretty good odds. He finished second last year and he won in 2014. He's playing great with 4 top 20s in a row. And like he was there was a point where he was kind of in the mix at the U.S. Open this weekend until he was 2 under going into the weekend. So he was there for start of Saturday, and obviously he was really close at the PGA until he shot final around 75. So he's been playing a lot better. And he's also played really well here, including I think I picked him last year and he finished second. So I like him a lot. And my best bet will be Streelman top 40. I think that's pretty close to a lock, to be honest. He's top 20 lines plus 150. So I'm assuming it's plus top 40 lines,
probably
right around the minus 150 line. So
no, I said that last week.
I'll go with
Zalatoris. I said Zalatoris top 40. That's a lock, and he missed the cut. So
yeah, that's true.
Very, very important.
It's a little bit easier than the U.S. Open, if I had to guess.
Yeah,
so.
I would
a little bit.
But anyway, we're gonna go to the first round leader because I actually picked him as the first round leader last year, and the only reason I remember that is because he missed a short putt on 18 for first round leader, and that's gonna be Paul Casey plus 3,300. I mean, it was such a bad beat last year, but we mentioned earlier he plays well at this course. I think he's going to redeem himself. I think he's going to get the first round leader this year.
Yeah, all right. I'm with that. I might throw that down with you. Plus 3,300. Yeah, I'll throw that. Why not? Keep my hot streak alive.
I was devastated last year when he missed that putt.
Yeah, I remember that. It feels like longer than. Hasn't he done that multiple times to you?
I think so. Yes.
I feel like we've kind of gone very long on this episode. So do we even really need to go in the clubhouse unless anybody has any specific they want to cover?
Not really. Fifth major this week.
Yeah, fifth major. Rocket Mortgage next week, which, you know, it's not a great tournament, but it produced a winner in Bryson last year. So not awful.
It did.
Last thing I want to say is this stretch of golf we got coming up. Well, it's not majors. I mean, eventually, I'm thinking like 4 or 5
match.
weeks.
When's the match?
July 6th.
Okay.
So we have that coming up. But I actually like this stretch of golf. I really do. Like the Rocket Mortgage, the John Deere, like you're not gonna be watching like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday a whole time.
No, John Deere,
you know, it's something good to
drama.
tune into. You know, the 3M Open, the Olympics will come up 2 weeks after the Open, which is, you know, that'll be good. And then you're almost at the playoffs. So
and then Ryder Cup after that.
Exactly. So I feel like, you know, it's not a dead spot quite yet. And also after the fourth major, I don't think it'll be really a dead spot because there'll be Olympics. Ryder Cup will be coming up, obviously the playoffs. So we're in a good spot with golf.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
See you next week for the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit.